Hi, thanks for joining me today on this video from Go2 Ministries. If you're watching, it's because you've expressed an interest in being a prayer advocate for Go2's ministry vision of Circles of Grace. Let me explain just a moment what Circles of Grace is, and then I'll help you to understand what your role as prayer advocate would be. I really want to thank you for considering doing this on behalf of the Lord's work in church planting in the United States of America. Go2 has identified, along with its partner Percept Ministries, who really are focusing on demographics across the country, have identified 1,765 geographic areas in circles that we call Circles of Grace. These Circles of Grace have unique components. They normally are 15 to 22 miles wide in circumference and represent almost 90% of the population of the United States. Our goals for the Circle of Grace are threefold. First, we hope to be able to identify new young leaders that would emerge in each circle who would start new churches and community development projects within those circles. And because Jesus says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, we know that the place to start in trying to identify and equip and release those young leaders is first in the avenue of prayer. If we aren't praying, leaders for the harvest field, workers for the harvest field will not be raised up. Our second goal for each circle is to be able to connect with a unique ministry partner in each circle who has a heart for that particular geographical region of our country. Because they've been placed there strategically by God on mission, the goal is to partner with them to help them achieve the ministry and vision dream that God has entrusted into their heart. And the third reason for doing the Circles of Grace is to try to connect people who are committed to prayer in each of the circles into a network of people who would be praying specifically for our country. The whole program is called Circles of Grace, and if you go to the Go2 Ministries website, and that is spelled Go, the word Go, the numeral 2, ministries.com, you'll see on our homepage Circles of Grace located here on the top left corner. By clicking on Circles of Grace, you'll be taken to a map of the United States of America, and on the top you'll see the word Springboard Network. Our goal and ideal is to create a network of prayer warriors, leaders, churches, and partners who will work with Go2 in these 1,765 circles to bring salt and light to the United States. When you get to the web page called Springboard Network, the Circles of Grace, you'll see that a map of the United States shows up with red circles which represent each of our 1,765 Circles of Grace. You're interested in a specific one and are being asked to consider to become the prayer coordinator and a prayer advocate for that particular circle, along with the needs of whatever partner church or agency has decided to partner with Go2 Ministries. And so when you come to the page as prayer advocate, what you're really coming to is not just coming to a prayer initiative that you alone are engaged in, but a prayer initiative that is a connection of leaders like yourself who are advocating for the welfare of people who live in our great country, which is the 5th largest mission field in the world. So when you come to the Circle of Grace page, you can click on the circle that you're interested in, and it will bring a pop-up window. So for purposes of this video, I'll be clicking on the circle called Presque Isle, Maine, all the way up in the right-hand corner of the prayer map. When the prayer window opens, there are a number of things that will be evident to you. First, it will tell you how many people are actually praying for that particular Circle of Grace. And your job as a prayer advocate would be to get as many individuals as you can encourage to sign up to become prayer warriors for that specific circle. In the case of Presque Isle, there's a population area made up of 31,151. Each of these circles have very specific demographics, which we'll talk about in a future video as how you might be able to utilize as a prayer advocate for your church or agency. When you get to the circle, you'll find out that you can sign up there, that there's significant information about the circle, and an opportunity for you to sign up and receive prayer updates on the information and ideas that are flowing throughout that circle. Eventually, the circles will be connected through social networking so that best practices or needed prayer requests can flow from circle to circle. But for now, functioning as a prayer advocate, your role would be to take the burdens of that particular circle, the needs of the partner church that you're representing, and to advocate for prayer for that circle. You would be sending us prayer requests for the circle that would sit in conjunction with prayer requests that are already placed there by Go2 Ministries. Our prayer coordinator will take your prayer requests, add them to the circle, and create a bi-monthly way for all of those who are interested in the circle to pray and receive email notifications about needs for that specific circle. So the Circles of Grace is really an opportunity to have a united prayer for the United States of America that is specifically targeted to the needs of specific regions in our country. We know that our country is made up of many differences based upon geography, and yet we all sit in one great land, one of the greatest nations that God has ever raised up on planet Earth. But we need to pray for it. We need to pray for leaders to be raised up who will work in the harvest fields. We need to pray for those ministries already placed there by God, that they'll be strengthened. We need to pray for the leaders of our country, both at the national and state and local levels. All of these things is what we're asking prayer advocates to consider as they think about whether God would have them lead a prayer movement in conjunction with Go2 Ministries partners for this circle. Thank you for watching this video on how to be involved in the Circles of Grace and how to advocate. Along with this video, you'll receive a packet of information that will help you to process how to sign up, that will help you to know how to create email prayer requests sent to our office, and that will encourage you to actively participate and communicate the messages of need that exist in each circle. The primary role of the prayer advocate is to bring awareness to the needs of people about the circle for which they are advocating, and to encourage as many as possible to sign up to pray in a network of prayers. Our goal is 500,000 people praying for the United States of America over the next 10 years. What would happen if 500,000 of God's people regularly prayed for our country? I deeply appreciate your willingness to become a prayer advocate for your Circle of Grace. Thank you for remembering to pray for our country and for advocating in your circle for God's people to pray. Remember, you'll be joining a network of many who will be bringing prayers to the throne of grace, and our God promises that if we come to His throne, He will give us grace to help in time of need. Our country is in need of prayer. We thank you for being a part of that great movement.